Here we are again! The Why No Wine Show! Take 2! This time with feeling!
Totally messed me up.
Alright guys, technical difficulties. That's the joy of going live. I'll let them talk.
I hear you. That's what I said.
I feel your pain.
I'm only trying to do the intro to the show,
We were
people!
whispering.
Alright! Welcome to the Why No Wine Show! The only show where you can crash and be back in a matter of seconds. Because that's Facebook and the wonderful world of technology. Anyway, this is the only show where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour. We are trying to fix a big problem in America. And you know what I'm talking about. I call it the zero to Nazi effect. You've all experienced it. You're online, you're having a conversation, somebody disagrees, and it goes from zero to Nazi. I will now punch you in the face and go outside and set fire to your car. Well, we have a solution. It's the Why No Wine Show, and it's glorious wine. Yes, we bring people together from all different walks of life, pour a great glass of wine, and sit down and have a civil conversation like normal freaking adults. Hashtag adulting.
I don't think we're very normal.
Today's wine, Vandori. Yes, this is a lovely Pinot Grigio from Italy. Make sure you log in and subscribe to our Instagram page because I will have a review of this delicious wine posted up there tomorrow morning. Also, make sure you follow us on YouTube. And after the show is over today, we're going to go live on Instagram in the conference room for the after party. That could be wild. You never know. I'm going to turn it over to my guests. We're going to give them the opportunity to do a shameless plug. But before I do that, today's topic. It's a fun one because we're doing it. Well, we're not minors drinking. Some of us may act childish. You know, I admit it, it happens. But we're going to share the topic today, which is, should we lower the drinking age? What are your all's thoughts on this? You know, like, share what you think in the comment feed because we're gonna discuss this all while we're drinking alcohol. We might be biased, I don't know. So I'm gonna pour some delicious wine, and I'm gonna turn it over to Scott over here. Scott can introduce himself and give his shameless plug, which is part of the exorbitant pay package that I give my guests for being on the show. So Scott, take it away.
All right, good deal. I'm Scott Apley, back again, having fun.
Yes!
I'm going in a weird direction with my shameless plug this week.
Okay.
I'm going commercial.
You're going to plug in a weird direction.
He said it.
And take 3.
Not Joseph.
No,
Joe
so
said it, not Joseph.
I'm going commercial. So a few weeks ago, I told everybody to avoid the movie Downsizing.
Yes.
Right. So now I'm going to go the opposite direction
and encourage everybody to watch it. Best thing I ever saw.
Everybody to go watch The Greatest Showman. So it was an amazing, amazing movie.
Really?
I've had several conversations. Yeah, I've had several conversations, and I've been asked the question: is it the best movie that you've ever seen? And my answer is no. There's a lot of great movies. It's not the best one. Shawshank Redemption, Mr. Holland's Opus. There's some great movies out there, but I would say that no movie has ever brought me more joy than this movie.
Wow!
When you see it like that.
The Greatest Showman. The songs. It's a musical. It's a musical, and I don't like musicals either.
I hate musicals.
But
every song goes along with the movie.
Really?
And it's just so inspiring. It's just really, really great.
Hugh Jackman really pulled that
off.
off.
Oh man, he did, and he championed that
actually
thing.
Pretty good.
He championed it from writing all the way through, and he got turned down by several studios. And I learned something about The Multiplier. Has anybody ever heard about The Multiplier movies? So usually if you do really crappy on your opening weekend, you're done. I mean, you're not going to recover. There's only a few movies in history that have sucked on the opening weekend, and then the buzz picked it back up. And this one, the only one that's beaten this one is Titanic, had a multiplier of 19, which means the total end gross receipts is 19 times the opening weekend. And right now, The Greatest Showman is at 13, I believe. 13 multipliers.
What is
pretty good.
Do you know any other movies that are
on that list?
Yeah.
I don't. I just remember Titanic.
Did you see The Shape of Water?
I have not seen The Shape of Water.
Just curious. I actually, now that you're saying that, I was telling him, I was like, oh, I'm
We
not
interrupt this
interested.
episode of Whine No Whine to have a movie review.
Yeah, I just think that's a really good plug because I wasn't going to watch it because I don't like the circus, but now that you say...
Oh, it's so great. I can't even say enough about it.
Wow.
We need to do a show about movies.
You know, I really don't like
show would be good.
I really don't like musicals. It's not my thing, but I do like Hugh Jackman. I think he's one of the really most underrated
I'll buy your ticket.
actors
I'll
out
buy
there.
you and your wife's ticket.
Wow.
And mine?
No.
I really like him as an actor. I think from being able to go from something as extreme as Wolverine to doing a Broadway musical is a lot of diversity in a character. I'm impressed with him. So, all right. Anyway,
I won't ask for
Joe!
My name is Joseph. I don't have any shameless plug. Joe just messaged me today and said that he's in the mood to break another Whine No Whine Show record, so I'm the guy to do it. So here we go. Go ahead, Rachel.
How do I follow that?
She can. It's impossible. Go
Well,
ahead.
what I was going to say is, I'm just going to plug the Whine No Whine Show back in itself.
Aw.
I don't know if you guys have joined the discussion group. I'm definitely going to be very active. I'm moderator.
Thank you for mentioning that.
I hope you do join. There's a discussion group, and so...
You can go to Whine No Whine Show Group. So Facebook.com/Whine No Whine Show Group.
Yes. And I want to say that if Joseph and I can make it through this show while drinking wine and discussing whatever we're going to discuss, we're going to show you what the Whine No Whine Show
Yes, we will.
means.
That's right.
That's really all I want
It's
to
my
say.
life
That's
goal.
right.
She might end up being backhanded me by the end of the show. So, yeah.
You are close
Steve, shameless plugs.
Oh my gosh. Well, my name is Steve, and I guess I'm one of the original Grapeheads. I
story.
really enjoy doing this show. I think it really has brought forth in the last year some very diverse ideas. We have not had very many contentious shows. Knock on wood.
Well,
So-
we've had contention, but we haven't had undue, what the show's mission is.
lack
We
of
haven't
stability.
we haven't had a lack of stability. We've had
That's right.
We've had
And
passion.
that's the best thing. And you know what? This is a lesson that I would say the bunch of people up in Washington, D.C. need to learn. Is how to do what we
Gosh,
do.
yes, that's a great statement.
So that's one thing I wanted to point out. So that's really my shameless plug.
Oh, so we're all kind of Whine No Whine Show veterans.
Yeah,
Yep.
true story.
I just joined the 5 Timers Club, which I made up when I got here.
Does she get a free T-shirt?
I told them I want a smoking jacket.
Right. We have to order smoking jackets for
But
the repeat
I don't
offenders.
smoke cigarettes,
Repeat
so...
I would probably get in a leather bomber jacket. So yeah.
So, we had all kind of fun getting the show launched here and just the crazy madness of technology and all that sort of thing. And, guys, this is the, first of all, this is a live feed. It's new technology. And there's just inherent problems with new technology. So we're really on the cutting edge. I get super frustrated, and I try not to show it when stuff doesn't go perfectly because that's what I'm striving for. I want to do what we're doing better than anybody out there, and I think even on the shoestring budget that we have, we approach debate and sensitive issues, I think, as good or better than most anybody on any kind of national TV
I think he
program.
handles it really, really well.
Thank you, sir.
I thought he was about to blow a cork here, man.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. But I'm trying to diffuse the situation.
His got real red. You
Just
saw that?
ignore him.
I was just
He's
ready
about
for the
to pop.
wine to be poured, and I'm
That's
fine.
right. You just you're
So, wine makes all things better. So, the topic today is a fun one, and we're gonna debate whether the drinking age should be lowered. And I think behind the scenes, the production crew is doing a great job. Shout out to my daughter, Ashley Orsak, who you see in the comment feed all the time. She's managing the comments and notes on the screen for us and all that sort of thing. And Alex is on. Yes, Alex is on production, video work, and all that kind of stuff. Shout out for Alex. Comment, tag the comment feed if you haven't already, Ashley. Post the sponsors. Because we have sponsors now. We have sponsors now, which is a wonderful thing. We have Tara Wagner, who is with Send Out Cards. She's a real estate coach, and she has a website called artofathankyou.com, and this is all posted at the top there. We have David Pipkin, who's a regular guest on the show, and he is with Scott Thomas Homes. Beautiful custom homes. I mean, like they
and
really.
His name is Tom.
Yes, his name's Tom. Yeah, he goes by his middle name, Tom. Yes, and phenomenal homes. So if you guys are looking for a home, if you're a realtor that wants to see some amazing homes, definitely check them out. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. They pack a lot of value into the house. They really do. John Cruz, the newest sponsor, literally just came on today, and with Phil and Derek's Wine Bar. Beautiful place. If you guys see the new promo, if you're on the Wine to Wine Show page, the video that's at the top of the page, if you click on that and watch it, the last half of that video is shot in his lounge. Beautiful, beautiful place. Really cool. They have live music 6 days a week. We're going to get drink specials. We're going to get all kind of stuff for the show. We're nailing that down, so look for that coming up. Ben Ashworth with Altered State Productions. And Alex, who is also with Altered State Productions, handling all of our video work, all that kind of stuff. If you want a mad, awesome video crew, sound crew, that sort of thing, those are the guys to look up. So,
we're losing our research assistant. Ashley Bradley can't stay.
No! Yes, yes. That's a great title for her.
Oh, no, that's it. I'm out.
Ashley
I'm
Bradley is our research assistant up in Illinois. I like that. I'm totally going to run with that. Ashley, you're officially the Wine to Wine Show research assistant.
Yeah, I always am like asking for somebody to Google. That's why I did it last night.
Yeah,
for
she's
phenomenal.
She's very nimble.
Yes,
very
she's
nimble.
phenomenal. She's always pulling up good data.
Well, if anybody feels like it would be super nice if you want to fact check these gentlemen who can't keep their facts straight.
So we're
I have
gonna.
no idea.
Oh my God!
We're gonna dive in now, guys. I want to mention real quick because I've noticed this, and especially with these light, the Pinot Grigios, that kind of wine.
Now.
We will slam the wine, and then by the end of the show, we've completely forgotten it. Right?
No, I already want to rate it now. I know where it's at. It's very close to a 5, Joe.
I'm telling you, it's
Holy
a
smokes.
delicious.
There's
little
only
wine.
one wine that I've had
Not
on
for
this
me.
show that was a 5, and it was similar to this. But
It was Orgoglio.
Yes, that
yeah,
one.
it was a
So you're
also
into the kind of the fruity.
I'm
wine.
very fruity,
You're very,
yes.
very fruity.
I actually thought this was
Yeah.
a little on the
Yes.
drier side for a
It
white.
is dry. Yeah,
It's
whites
a
are
little
kind
dry,
of
huh?
dry.
You're welcome, Joseph. I stopped
So-
that line of attack.
So anyway,
bring it on.
what is your thoughts? I mean, I was mentioning the wine just so you can kind of be thinking about it and where you would rate it, so that at the end of the show, when you
Yes.
see the rating, we're gonna be getting into it. What are your thoughts? Should we lower the drinking age as we're sitting here, drinking, having a good time? Chime in with your thoughts, right? And our poor production crew is still behind the scene trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
I'm the only one who likes that picture.
But we're still live. We're still live because we have the red light on. But anyway, chime in with your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Should the drinking age be lowered? We gotta know. So I'm gonna go around and get everybody's kind of a bullet point thought on this, 1 minute or less, kind of a deal, and then we're gonna jump into the comment feed and start addressing the audience's thoughts.
We talked about a little tiny brief moment in the back, and somebody made a good point. I was like, shouldn't tie it to age at all. Like, really, you shouldn't be able to drink until you pay your own rent, right? So you're not living in your mom's basement, but
I can't drink
Self-sustaining.
that.
That's an interesting angle.
in general, to answer the question, my bullet point.
I can't drink that.
Okay,
my
Take
bullet
his drink.
point.
That's it.
Mark,
My
Gimme,
bullet point
gimme,
is
gimme, gimme.
yes, the drinking age should be lowered.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know you were pro-classism.
All right.
Ow.
Joe.
Well, that's what that is.
I think it should be lowered. Number one, because if they're allowed to throw a gun in your hand and send you to a foreign country and say, "Hey, go protect, the motherland," then I think you should be able to have a beer.
Why would they protect Russia?
I mean,
That's a really good point.
That's my thing. And also, I believe that when you prohibit something, it creates people want what they don't have, what they can't have.
Mm-hmm.
So the most trouble I've ever gotten into with drinking was way before I was 21. So there's that.
Okay. All right.
Believe it or not.
Rachel?
I had the good fortune to be an exchange student in Germany when I was 16. So I actually think how they have it set up is really good. I think you should learn responsibility with alcohol. We should take the taboo away. So obviously lower. But that being said, we need to bump up the driving age because we have too many drunk idiots and we have too many just dumb people driving. So the caveat for lowering drinking means that we're going to raise the driving age because you need to learn responsibility with alcohol before you get behind the wheel. To me, those things are just
Okay.
tied.
Couple interesting caveats there. I like that. All right. Steve.
Well, I'm going to say no. I think it ought to be raised, just from a semantic standpoint. I don't think the maturity level of anybody below the age of 21 is capable of handling the responsibility. But if we were to work on phasing that out and creating a maturity in people below the age of 21, okay, I could find a way to wrap around that. But at the same time, I really, we'll go into that a little bit later. I don't want to bust up my 1 minute bullet point. So that's my position.
All right, let's go back to the audience here. I want to acknowledge a few of you guys tuning into the show.
Hey, William.
Yes. So we've had so much fun today with the video feed, and James says the video isn't cooperating.
It's working for some devices, but not others.
It must be just PC's not catching up yet. These mobile devices are fine.
We're having all sorts of crazy technology. I don't know what's going on.
Damn you, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I mean, So anyway,
He's probably
let's run to the
watching.
bottom of the comment feed here. Well, it just disappeared.
I did it.
Zuckerberg said,
Yeah, I'm on to you. Yes. Thanks, Scott. Gosh, don't piss off Zuckerberg. All right, so scrolling to the bottom of the comment feed there, Layla Miko. Hi.
Yeah, she's.
Hi, Rachel. Miko.
I don't know if it's pronounced Miko or Miko.
Well,
Hey, can you include the
Maiko.
pronunciation? I don't actually know how to say
well,
that.
there's a musician, a musical
Maiko.
artist that is her name is Miko, right there. There she is. And she pronounces it Miko.
Oh,
Whether
okay.
that's the accepted way or not,
Okay.
who the heck knows.
Well, she's wonderful. We have been Facebook friends, and she gets involved in the stuff. And I'd like to know specifically which blue laws in Texas you're talking about. If you could maybe expound on that.
Okay. Well, I'm working my way up to the top of the feed there, so I was going to get to that. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sunday.
You're
Sunday
forgiven.
noon.
Ashley Bradley said she was just glad to throw some support our way here, and she couldn't stay. But that's our research assistant here. So the show is totally going to be not researched today. So anyway, support our sponsors. We got that pinned at the top of the comment feed. Cindy G, what is going on? Cindy is a regular on the show, and we are kind of discussing a health and wellness show to possibly go live on the Wine No Wine Show page. So that could be coming. James Taylor, video isn't cooperating. I know, dude. I mean, we're just having crazy madness with it. Layla, you said, I care more about the blue laws on alcohol sales in Texas being removed. So blue laws, that'd be Sunday. So places are closed on Sunday, and you can't sell alcohol on Sundays before
12 o'clock.
12
These
o'clock.
are really-
Alcohol at all. Like, alcohol
Yeah.
at all, but beer afternoon.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
those are, based on Christian morals, and I totally agree with that because I don't think we should regulate people based on your personal religious beliefs.
All right.
So I agree with you there.
So
No
we'll
surprise.
we'll come back to the responding to the comment feeds here in a second. Yeah, he was. I'll get to it. Ben, thanks for tuning in. Mariley, what's your thoughts on this? You're practically 21. She's young. I have to pick on her. And a wonderful, sweet gal. Tina, thank you for tuning in. What are your thoughts on this? Should the drinking age be lowered? Robert said, no, Ashley Orsak as a guest. Time to boycott the show. I made my post today about the guest who last minute, flunked out of life and hit my unfriended list. And based on my daughter, being a regular person on the show, through the comment feed, he said it's time to get her on the show, and he was rallying
agree, Robert.
for you getting on the show. The problem with that idea, Robert, is that I lose a production staff member who is vital to the show. So it makes it a lot more difficult. Besides, she's already practically on the show because she will comment like a maniac when it's a subject that she's passionate about. Just watch and see. So anyway, Paul, thanks for. Oh, Paul. Hey, Paul is an artist,
Yes.
and as he goes by the con artist,
Ah.
which is kind of a fun,
I
fun
actually
thing.
really enjoy his art. He's really
Yeah.
prolific. He does
Some
so
really
much
cool
work.
stuff, and I think he's going to be on the artist edition of the show coming up
Great.
soon. And she pronounces it Mieko, which is probably, I want to say, much more accurate to the Mieko. Yeah, Mieko.
That's what I said.
IA. Yeah, it could go either way.
That's what I said.
Anyway, I think that's much more accurate to the Japanese spelling or pronunciation of the name.
Yeah.
Judy Maldonado, thank you for tuning in. Laura Lynn, thank you for tuning in. Tina says, yes, think should be 18 since they can give their life for us. Besides, most drink anyways. That's an interesting point. I want to get back to this. That was Joe's point, and I want to dive into that a little bit. Joe Curry. Joe, thanks for tuning in, man. Ben Ashworth, yo. Matt Chambers, hi. Kelly Thrall, hey, thanks for tuning in, Miss Hildebrandt. Ben's giving us a shout out. Calvin Weaver, hey, from the Hot Brow Steakhouse, where I have had both a delicious steak and a nice glass of wine. So there we
I know,
go.
I'm starving now.
Yeah, Paul giving us a shout out. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So look, the subject is, should we lower the drinking age? Right. So y'all guys, you chime in with your thoughts on this. We're going to jump back here. We've had two different comments about the Sunday thing, the blue laws, right? And now we have the idea of the dying for the country at 18. That is a frequently expressed comment, right? I'm honestly really on the fence with it. I have made that argument and felt that way myself. Where I go back to is, serving our country, definitely one thing at 18 that, about danger and all that sort of, putting your life on the line and all that sort of thing. But when it comes to drinking, the maturity level of putting other people in danger through that process, it's one thing to be trained and learn how to use a weapon and be responsible at 18. But for me, I'm still on the fence with it. I'm not.
Why? Because you
not
lose
either way.
control with alcohol? Because people have less
Well,
judgment and
yeah, exactly.
motor
That's
skills.
yeah. So I mean, like when I'm still clear in thought and not impacted by an inebriate.
Don't mind if I do.
Right.
Help me out.
By this, alcohol. When I'm not impacted or impaired, there's the word I was looking for, impaired by alcohol, it's more sensible to me or more logical to me that I could teach an 18-year-old how to be responsible with a weapon. But now when I'm introducing alcohol to an 18-year-old and further complicating, having to teach him to be responsible with a 3,000-pound weapon or vehicle,
As somebody
it becomes
who's
a little more
done both,
challenging.
I think it's way easier to teach people responsibility with alcohol. I was in the military. One thing that people have suggested is let military members drink.
Yeah.
If you're
Keep
in
it the
military.
same, but have a waiver.
If
for,
you want to do that,
serve the
because
military.
I mean that is a really stressful thing, and one of the only things, particularly if you're on deployment, the only things you have in your time off is drinking.
But do we want to encourage
Wouldn't
that?
that
No,
make
but I'm
things,
saying,
wouldn't that make things worse though?
It would. So that's why I think we should
Alcohol's an oppressive.
lower it.
Alcohol
and I
doesn't
think,
solve any problems.
no, it doesn't. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying they're going to, and I'm saying
Going
like
to do
maybe
it
we
anyway.
shouldn't shame them since their lives are really hard already.
Right. Okay. I guess.
But also, I think learning responsibility with alcohol is something that should start much younger. I mean, I don't think we should. I think we've created this taboo culture where we let kids off a leash and they go to college and then they just get stupid drunk because they've never sat around
So
and
prohibited,
had some
yeah.
glasses of wine at dinner with their families, or when they've gone out. And in Germany we did that. We'd go and we'd order it by the liter, and I promise by the time you finish a beer, you're like, maybe I don't need another one. Like, we'd go and get one beer, and that was it, and that was our time out. And so I think that I really, really believe we should lower it. I really believe it has to go down
So what?
because
18?
16.
What?
16 for beer and wine, 18 for hard liquor. That's how they have it in Germany. That's how they have it in most
16?
European countries. Yeah, but you can't drive until you're 18.
Ashley Bradley said she's still here.
My voice wasn't even cracked at 16. It barely is now.
Did you not try wine
I can't
even
grow
younger?
a mustache. Well, no. In my bottle.
I'm not saying you're
father
getting
used to-
wasted at 16. That's probably how you're thinking.
But
I'm talking about having a glass
that's
of
what
wine at
kids
dinner with
do,
you.
though. I mean,
That's
really.
because that's the culture we've created around it.
so,
We've
yeah,
created this taboo. But if you sit at dinner with your family, I promise you're
I
not
guess-
getting
yeah, I guess
wasted
you're
when you're 16.
Well, for once, you're right.
So,
Why?
we mentioned. She mentioned 16. So here's kind of what I
don't know
think.
about that.
I think
That's a
that
good
in the context of American society, we have to only talk about 18 right now, because first of all, below 18 is considered a minor child under the responsibility of the parents, and the parents should be the decision maker there.
They can all be tried as adults, though.
And
That's true.
18 is the late age of consent,
Come in with that point.
where you can enter into contracts. 18 is just the good cutoff range. Now, besides that, what I
And to
say is that we shouldn't say that some 18-year-olds can't handle maturity of alcohol and some can't. What I believe is the individual is paramount, and you hold individuals accountable for bad decision making. So if there's 100 18-year-olds that can get tanked at their house responsibly and not cause anybody any problems, you shouldn't make it illegal for all those 100 kids because there's one jerk out there who's going to do something ridiculous.
That's BBC.
All right.
Well, they should raise the voting age, Steve. All these millennials
I
been
think
voting
that's-
for.
I think they should lower the voting age too.
You don't
I think
say-
we're
Oh
not.
God, no.
I think
We
we're
should
not.
raise the
I think we're
voting
not
age.
giving enough
Credit.
credit to young people. I mean, we're going to try them as adults. We're going to send them to war. We're going to not let them own things, but they can go to jail for the rest of their life. I mean, come on.
That's in
Let
very
people-
rare circumstances, though.
But we're saying that they are old enough to make adult decisions when we agree to try them as adults. So then why can't we let them make the adult decision?
I'm very uncomfortable with the amount of
Okay, so-
agreement I have with you right now. So
Okay.
I'm looking for a way to disagree with you because I really agree with you. I don't think it should be 16, but maybe 18 is probably.
I really think these numbers we're set on are pretty arbitrary. I mean, they've been decided before we had the science in on how our brains develop, and before we've had many, many trials, and before we've had a lot of voting and things like that to see. I mean, 150 years ago, if you were 16, you were probably married. You had your own home. I mean,
Wasn't there
why
places
you
now
You
could
also
drink
only live
then?
to be
You
like
can legally
35.
get
Right,
married
and you
some
could drink-
places now, like
But
14, 15,
but
right?
what difference does that
Probably,
make?
it's
We've
probably
already
what killed them off.
But that's what we decided that, so what I'm saying is it's arbitrary. It changes with
Sure.
social and the information that we have. And based on the information that we have, we know not binge drinking, but, having a glass of wine now and then can be good for you even.
This is I'm this may be contentious to say this, and I mean it a little bit tongue in cheek, but also like half serious. It wasn't, but when our nation was founded, we had 14, 15-year-olds going off to start their family, having their own home, raising their own children, having the farm and etc. They also only lived to be 40. Right.
Right, but I think
so. But so let me finish. So at 14 or 15, they were in a different state of maturity because of what life demanded of them. Whereas in our culture,
So why don't we just demand more?
Yeah.
well, so what
I see what you're saying.
I'm going.
Oh,
I'm
Lordy,
going. Hang on.
man.
I'm going there. That's where I'm going with this.
can't.
In our culture, with the longevity of life and everything else, I mean, Joe still lives at home, but that's not uncommon
In the basement.
right?
Especially throughout the world.
So where I'm my point is that I don't see it as a bad thing that our adults or our children, are given in essence a longer period to mature, and because life doesn't have to make them an adult because they're only going to live to be 40. They're going to live to be
Right.
90, and so
Right.
so
I
they're
agree
taking
with
longer to
that.
mature.
But why have we decided that drinking is this horrible thing to let somebody who's 16 or 18 do? Like, it's not that big a deal. It's really not. Like, we're thinking of this party culture in colleges, and that's what we're all thinking about is just people drunk and falling over. And
Well, first of all, you probably
parking
haven't
lots and
hung
stuff.
around a lot of Mexicans, because that's all they do.
But regardless, even
Like,
if that is
seriously.
what you wanted to do, you're your own person.
Yeah,
like,
but it
why
causes
can't
trouble,
you have
though.
some drinks?
They do
I mean,
cause
that's another thing. But I'm just saying, we will have a little bit less of that. We'll have more responsibility with drinking. Should we quit making it such an off-limits thing? And I mean,
Well, it's off limits because it's against the law to drink
right? But
before
we can change the laws.
you're 21. Well, sure, you can change the law, but what's wrong with it right now?
It's ridiculous.
Okay. I'm going to have to ask you to expand on the
I have been
ridiculous
expanding
side.
on this.
And you have service experience overseas. I have service experience overseas. I actually was in the service when the legal drinking age was transitioning
Oh, wow.
from.
Oh, I
you
was
know,
an exchange student in Germany.
Yeah.
I was in the service when I was 25.
Well, that was way after my time. And
Yeah.
so it was already 21 by the time you went over there to be an exchange student, correct?
No, it was 16.
Here.
Oh, here it was 21. Yes.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that I remember when it was not 21. I remember
When it was
going
18,
off on
yeah.
deployment, and they changed the law, and it went 19. I went, yes, I can drink. And then I thought, okay, so what? Big deal. I had people, and you had people around you that were as close, if not closer, than family members who could kind of keep you in check. You know, you're going to go out. You're not going to go out drinking by yourself. Usually, the way we did it is just we went out with a bunch of guys, and we would go out and drink and do the things that we do. And we'd all stumble back on the ship. The next morning, we're getting up, and we still smell like half of Magasese Street. So, anyway.
That's cool.
There's teamwork here, and I think that the difference between that and in a college environment is that the kids nowadays in college are basically going out there and living wild and happy free, go lucky free, and it's like
they
there is
haven't
no
had responsibility.
they haven't had responsibility. They haven't been told the responsibility side of drinking.
I think we
And
haven't been doing a good enough job of easing our kids into the adult world.
There is
and
a
that
point there,
one,
yes.
And that is one way we can do that, is teaching them responsibility with drinking and how to be responsible with their own bodies and to be safe.
So do you think that parents nowadays, if they were sitting down if they actually sat at a table and they had a dinner together and not on the couch eating pizza, drinking a beer or something like that, if they actually sat around a table and they had a glass of wine that was dispensed by a parent, that would be an acceptable avenue to introduce the responsibility
Yeah,
and
and
the effects
legally
and
it
the
is
enjoyment and the enjoyment of wine.
Right, and that is legally okay, but because a lot of people, when they think about
It
the
is.
law, they draw a hard line on it, and then in their head, well, it's illegal, you can't drink yet, and I think we need to, in general, create a more permissible attitude, because parents are afraid to do that because of how they'll be looked at and shamed by other parents
Yep,
even.
that's right.
And so,
There's that shame again.
yeah, shame is one of the most powerful motivators for social groups.
Really?
Yeah.
I never feel shame.
We could shame the shit out of you right now if you...
Oh! Wait.
Where's the S-bomb?
There's no S-bomb. I'm sorry.
You get this one.
Chris Minnemeyer, get us an S-bomb.
Yeah, Chris Minnemeyer, I need an S-bomb. Create an S-bomb for me.
He's on here.
Speaking of Germany, I heard that there was this guy when I used to
Adolf Hitler?
No, I used to fix
Wow, from zero to Nazi. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
I used to fix Jaguars, and there was
This guy in Germany,
No,
Adolf
there was-
Hitler.
No, there was this guy who would come in. His wife was from Germany, and he would go over there every couple months or whatever to visit her family and everything. He said that over there, a long time ago, of course, that they would sell beer in the mornings at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
That was so crazy to me. And then, of course, they stopped it. But why is it like not allowed now?
Well,
Now
you
it's
could
like-
still get it other places. It's just
No, I'm
because
just saying, like,
McDonald's was
Mc-
carrying
yeah,
beer, and I think
McDonald's.
McDonald's decided not to carry beer.
I'd be interested to see. I actually, Bradley posted some stats here that I know my daughter's fixing the title of the show right now, so she can't pull it up. But as soon as she's done, she'll pull this up for me. But actually, Bradley posted some interesting stats here about teen alcoholism in the United States. and Canada. Yeah,
Oh, she put LOL. That means she's serious.
She was looking up some facts for us. She's still here, right? She's an addict. She can't get enough of the show.
Well, I mean, you
hang
did
on.
give her credit where
Right.
credit was due.
Right, yes,
So
absolutely.
why would you leave? We love you.
Yes. She said Canada's legal drinking age is lower than the United States. In the States, there's over 600,000 adolescents reported with alcohol use disorder, basically addicted to alcohol, as it is. That's ages 12 to 17. In Canada, there's a total of 600,000 people, age 15 plus, addicted to alcohol. Now, that's interesting. Age nor alcohol itself isn't a problem. It's when people become addicted and dependent on it and how that country supplies support for alcoholics.
You also have to think 600,000 out of how many?
Yeah, that actually
30 million?
It's actually where I'm just going with.
Well, Canadians, there's only about a
people
million.
between 12 and 17.
So this is where I was going with this thought, is
Name
that
like Justin Trudeau said
I'm interested to see what the alcohol stats are by percentage of population in the countries based on the drinking age. Because if Canada has the
I
same
think we
amount,
have one of the worst.
Yeah, hang on. So the stats she just supplied. Canada has 600,000, and America has 600,000.
Different age.
No,
groups,
but 12 to it has to be 12 to 17 though.
Yeah, that's what she was just posting. So Canada literally has about a tenth of the population of the United States. Yet they have the almost identical, or they do have the identical from what she posted. Alcoholism rates. So there's some more research
You'd
for
be
you, Ashley.
alcoholic
Well,
too if Justin
can I-
Trudeau
Even
was
had
your
grabs.
prime
Can
minister.
I
that
just
really
suggest
looked
a way
good.
to look at those
Doesn't need
stats?
to get up on
Yeah, I was going to say,
Right.
Ashley, want to encourage you to do some research for us. Alcoholism by age, based on percentage of populations. If you could look up like Germany and percentage of teen alcoholism. Russia, I know they had a big problem with alcoholism.
Well, so I
all
want
they
to
do.
I want to mention a
That's all they
way
have
to
time
interpret
for.
that. So from a sociological
Like
perspective,
straight up in the morning.
you know, and they've done a lot of studies in how that affects alcoholism rates. And with poor social structures or social support, you're more likely to have alcoholism. So like when the Native American communities were being deprived of funds and they were poor and they were shut out, their alcoholism rates skyrocketed. Some people like to talk about genetics, but sociologically speaking, we can see this over and over in groups. Also, people who are homeless and have literally no support, they're more likely to drink. So sometimes we're looking at the cause and effect, and I think sometimes we don't look at it in the right order, because they've shown that when you do put people in a good social environment, it takes away the reason for them to have addictive vices.
I mean, not to dispute the relevance of that at all. I would say if we looked at, you know, I referenced Germany and Canada, I think would be another good example. Any of the first world countries. Certainly there's going to be differences in social structures in those countries and that sort of thing. But I think if we went to first world countries and said, what's the alcoholism rate in teens in all these different countries, and look at the age and that sort of thing, I think it'd be a relevant stat for us to know.
I just think our country's a lot more competitive, whereas a lot of those are more cooperative, based on social structures. We're a highly capitalist, highly free market. We're a very competitive society, so that creates less closeness in your social networks, because there is always that part of you is like, am I going to have to compete with this person at some point? Whereas in a more cooperative country, you're not feeling in constant competition.
I think in this country, the people who drink look at drinking as a way to break the ice. It's more of a social activity, not as like maybe in a more European environment like in Germany. Drinking is more associated with meals and a more complete environment as far as that being part of a meal or something that's not bent on, we're going to get together and talk politics and social conditions and we're going to have a bottle of wine. That's fine to do. We do that here, but it's like there, I feel like it's more of a complete overall package. It's
don't
not
get it wrong.
something
There's wine fests in spring, and I lived in the middle of a vineyard, and we went to all the wine fests, and we would tie them on. Terrible thing they do, though, is mix carnival rides with wine fests.
I think it's better
Don't
to drink
recommend
on
that.
an empty stomach. It's a lot cheaper that way.
See, he can't. It's just like...
It's a fact.
That was a practical comment.
It's a fact.
It's a money concern.
You don't want to drink
economic
with food
factors.
because then you don't feel anything. You on empty
No, but
stomachs.
I think
They have
I think
bratwurst.
I think it's a relevant point that Steve mentioned in that, and this becomes a societal thing. Like, I mean, in Italy, you're going to have wine with every meal.
Yeah,
And
we did.
Most people
Yeah,
in
we
this country
did.
have never ventured foul. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sorry.
yeah.
Thank you.
We're calling.
Yeah, we need more
We're
wine.
calling for the
wine.
backup. The Black Box Pinot Noir. Yeah, this is some good
It's an
stuff.
award-winning box wine,
Bring
by the
it.
way.
Bring in the
Black
lefty.
Box
Bring in the
should
lefty.
sponsor the Wine No Wine show.
I'm just saying, if any of you guys have some contacts with
not
Black
really.
Box,
Thank
You still
Just a wee bit. No, I want it to mix because that's not very cold.
Really?
Please, just
Interracial wine, huh?
oh,
Is that?
great.
she's cutting
What in
edge.
the name of the Heavenly Father just
I
happened?
know. I feel
Rachel
so
Blomstrom
uncomfortable right
just
now with the
happened.
wine
Cutting
mixing.
edge.
Oh
I
my
put
God!
it-
Everybody's
Does it
mind
cut
is
like a
blown.
knife?
2018.
You want a knife?
Things are changing.
All right.
Now it's just
I put it in the freezer, by the way, to chill it. So
Thank you.
Well, all I'm
Because
saying
Joe's
is,
a very
is that
thoughtful
the
person.
example that I talked about, most people have never really observed. Rachel has, I have, I've seen, we've seen the
culture.
environments, the cultures, and the way people carry themselves in certain environments. And like I said, I don't think a lot of people in this country have ever left even their hometowns or their states, so they don't have an exposure to this. That's not a deficiency. That's just a fact of life.
It is,
And
yeah.
so when you introduce a change like this, like what we're talking about, I'm thinking it changes a lot more than just, oh, well, we're going to change it down to 15, 16 years old, and we're going to have a bunch of kids out there instead of playing basketball or, little laser gun games. They're going to be, I just don't like the access that a 16-year-old could go up to a liquor store or whatever and buy something,
I think
even
there's-
though it may be legal. I'm not comfortable with that kind of a liability in the society. Even though it works somewhere else, I just don't think it will work here.
What if
Well, I
over
hear
the
that
course?
It takes a
Go ahead.
long
I hear
time.
that a lot. No, it really doesn't. There will be a little kink at first, but you're this is one thing I see a lot with a more conservative. It's scary, and everyone thinks that we can't do it, but nobody thinks that they themselves can't. So if you can do it, and you can do it, and I can do it, why can't we just believe in everybody else? We can just make this shift, and we're gonna do it. We're okay. We're
We
resilient.
are a nation of
just-
free
what
thinkers.
if
and I'll
they-
tell you
It'll be
what,
the new
people
normal.
react to this stuff.
okay,
always
so
a
okay,
new
so
normal.
hang on. Question.
So what if they were to reduce it by a year every 5 to 10 years or so?
Just
I mean,
to
so
ease
that-
So that we can
people
ease.
We can ease
We can-
it.
You know, that's kind of, that's
Well, just
actually,
society.
Joe actually made
Right?
a very good point there.
I know. Why is
don't
everyone
we
so
ease into it?
Joe makes a good
So,
argument.
No, my
Goddamn
gosh,
time.
man, I'm floored by that. Because it goes back to when, the age.
This whole show has
What
made
are
me
you?
very uncomfortable.
I know Joe and
Joe and Rachel have
Y'all
been
need to
agreeing the
switch
whole time.
chairs.
I disagreed with you.
Yes, and
What
I mean,
is
like,
happening?
Bizarro world.
yes, I don't know what's happening. So yeah, let's go hit a couple of these comments. We've got some good stuff. David said, "Hello, Gray Pets. Trying to tune in, but video is giving you problems." David, welcome to this show. Apparently, video is being a problem for a lot of people.
It's
it
all-
seems 50-50 for some.
Yeah, it's hit and miss.
They're leaving
Paul,
posts to get alcohol.
Paul said 18 seems about right. Tara Wagner joined. Tara is the sponsor, one of the sponsors of the show. Shout outs to Tara. Yay. What's going on?
Hey, Tara.
Layla said, I live next to Fort Hood, and the soldiers here definitely drink before 21. Of course. They would benefit from a lower age because we have several wrecks from underage soldiers drinking because they are leaving posts to get alcohol.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So, I think there's been
I
a couple. There's been a couple points that I can very much get on board with. That was the soldiers getting to drink, right? Solves that problem. Get to go off to die for our country. Get to drink. I think that's very fair.
I think
If you're old enough to die for your country, you're old enough to drink.
Which
That's
means
actually
every
the
teenager
adage,
who's ever
historical
been
adage.
tried as an adult is old enough to die in this country, for this country, by this country's laws, then they also deserve to drink.
But Joe said something I think is applicable
I meant to get back to
this
that,
discussion.
yeah. Yes.
Is to, I think that yes, I think there might be a progression, and then we'll discover where the actual new threshold is and say, okay, is the maturity of, say, a 17-year-old just as good as a 21-year-old?
I just don't think that
never
European
know. When it
teenagers are
comes
better than
to
our
this
teenagers.
issue.
17.
I think our teenagers are better than them.
When I was 17,
Do it,
I was
drink.
causing all type of trouble. I cause all type of trouble now.
Well, that's
And I'm
that's
26.
you.
Right.
If
You're a trouble with a capital T.
So it's like 17, absolutely not.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I remember my early 20s in chronological order. But I'm still like, pro drink, y'all.
Okay.
I don't know. I
It's
mean,
okay.
I
I
look
just
at.
discredit myself.
I think the below.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're
I was kind of a
actually aging.
maniac
Yeah,
at
you're
19.
putting an age
If
on
I
it.
added legal alcohol to that,
You had hair
Oh,
down to your
35.
knees, Joe.
yeah, I mean,
That's
See,
pretty
this
crazy.
is natural. That's great.
Yeah, I think
big
that.
snack.
I think
you know, I have been. I'm,
So cool.
It's very interesting for me
distinguished.
because I was very much on the fence with this whole debate back and forth, and
Yeah.
and ironically, I don't feel so swayed still one way or the other. I there's been a couple points that have been really strong for me.
I mean, how would you feel if we lowered the drinking age and made the driving age later? How do y'all feel about that premise? If you learn responsibility with alcohol before,
Yeah,
No.
It would be a boom for mass
I don't
transit,
know.
I'll tell you that.
They need any
No.
connection.
Huh?
No,
I don't think there's any connection.
because I got tired of driving my little brother to
Applause
school.
going on your phone.
Throw him the keys, drive yourself.
Also, Dad, what can we do about getting Ashley a drink soon?
Well, she drinks wine whenever she wants. Yeah, she
There
doesn't
you
like
go.
it. Yeah,
And
so-
she does it under
That's
your
gonna be edited. That's gonna be edited out in
distribution.
post production, right?
Right. No, I mean, we've let her drink different wines and stuff, and just to try stuff, and she doesn't care for it.
That's not an 18-year-old palate.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Let's get you a good porter. No.
Fireball.
Oh,
That is an 18-year-old palate.
No.
That is an
Ashley.
example. That's totally
The
an
He
worst-
said
example.
Fireball. Oh,
the worst hangover I've ever had
Jägermeister.
was from Fireball
Cheap alcohol.
at 8:30 in the morning.
Robert Jeter with a fun comment here. We can't get Dan Huberty to quit drinking on the house floor.
This is true.
True story. True
Yeah.
story.
I'm gonna
Alright.
tag him in this.
Yeah.
We actually had an officer on our ship, and I'm not going to name who it was because they also shared their alcohol with me. But when we were underway, we didn't get to drink. And meanwhile, we met with a Navy or a British ship, and they had a.
They drink
They
on
had,
those. Yeah.
yeah, they had a, what is it called, a Coke dispenser thing with beer.
Vending machine.
A vending machine, thank you.
With beer in
With
it?
beer in it.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
our sailors who got to go visit their ship while we were like in the middle of the ocean, they all got, they got lit and everybody.
I voluntered for some TDY over
I
there.
know. I had to host some people coming to
that was
our
fun.
ship, and they were so mad they couldn't get drunk with us.
Man, I did not feel.
I mean, let's not
I felt
pretend
pretty
that
bad
like
for
we're
those
not
guys
going to
that
get
came over
drunk.
my
Yes,
place.
I understand teenagers are going to get drunk. It's going to happen.
If all else fails,
But what
I've
we
gotten
don't
drunk
want-
off of Listerine. And to be honest with you, the hangover is not
Oh,
that
I
bad.
used to hide Jack Daniels in a bottle of the old glass.
The
bottles of
alcohol
Listerine.
content in Listerine is like through the roof.
Well, yeah, but
Exactly.
it
You
looks
only
the
need a
same.
little
So
cup,
we
you
had.
don't need a little
I think
Yeah.
it's only 2%. It's
Oh, no,
really
no, no.
not through the roof.
Some of the
way
guys
higher
I
than
served
Can
with
we,
heard that, and they
Ashley,
know why I
can we
was
get
so happy.
can we get a check on that?
Yeah, it's way higher.
I'm
How much
content.
alcohol in Listerine?
I'm kidding. I've
Listerine.
never done that. But I
It's
did see
definitely
it.
higher than
I
2%.
did see a
I've heard
Dr.
it.
I think
Phil
that's
show
dope
where
as
the
too.
I've
ladies
heard it
drink
in Wives'
Listerine.
Tales.
Maybe.
Yeah, I
Well,
did
I'd
that.
dump the Listerine out, and then I'd put Jack Daniels in it, and I'd screw the top back
Oh,
on.
so every
I could
morning
get
you-
out. Oh well, whenever I wanted to
And
brace,
there were
I'd do it.
definitely kids in school when I was in high school who brought vodka and water bottles. Like, it happens. I may have had a 40 of
54
OE
proof?
on the way to
Whoa.
soccer practice before.
Okay, 54 proof.
26%
What?
alcohol by
26% alcohol by content.
Wow. Okay, I
And
was
it's
thinking
super
scope
cheap.
is scope. Oh man,
It's-
that's even higher.
I told you.
It's super
Holy
cheap if you get the
cow.
Walmart brand.
And they
Trust
don't
me.
lock
Go
that
ahead.
up.
General, whatever it's
I'm
called.
gonna start a new drink.
The off knock,
The-
the knockoff.
exactly.
The Scope and Tide Pod Challenge.
Oh my God, can we scrub that from
Have you
the
heard?
history?
Hold on, Steve. Have you heard? You know the Glade plugins. They got the Glade Enema Challenge.
Maybe if we let them drink, they wouldn't be drinking.
I don't think that's what they
too
meant to
much?
plug it into.
Yes.
Well, there's the Glade Enema Challenge.
Hey, do we have any teenagers watching? If you were allowed to
I don't recommend
drink
it.
a
If you were
beer,
allowed
would
to put a
still-
Glade up your butt,
Would you still drink Tide Pod? Like, if we gave you a beer instead, would you do that?
I would much rather a kid drink a beer than eat a Tide Pod because that's stupid.
Yeah.
Is society regressing? This may be an
See,
argument.
that's no, there's an
so
example.
that's
It's not
why I
just
keep
kids.
talking about sociology. Our society is really restrictive
The
in
people
some
that are
ways.
eating Tide
I
Pods
think
are
we're
way
regressing,
over above the
though.
age
Like,
of
it's
21.
right, and I think
Because we
Yeah.
allow prolonged adolescence.
I think it's because
Yes,
they're
and that's
liberals.
why I'm like, it's time to start putting some. I mean, we've got to ease that. Like, they've stopped teaching home ec. No, these kids don't know how to teach. I mean,
Wood
how to
shop,
cook for themselves.
civics.
They don't have these. Yeah, they don't know how to balance a checkbook. I can remember being in 5th grade and like standing in the grocery store.
I
line.
loved woodshop.
I loved it. Yeah, I mean.
You love wood shop?
Yes.
It's not your fault, but seriously,
I'm a huge
try
fan
to
of wood
find
shop.
a way to seek responsibility, even if you're not being
I
given
give
it.
wood shop a 10.
I actually did cut my finger in wood shop. I still have the scar.
Me and woodshop.
I really did.
I
trying
love
to be,
wood shop,
I was
but
trying
like
to be
seriously,
cool.
y'all
I actually
have
did
home
love
ec.
shop. I was in wood
And
shop.
home
I
ec
did.
should be, it's not unmasculine to take home ec and learn how to
We
wash
need to
your
post that
sink.
video of the kids standing around watching the kid trying to open up a can of
Oh,
raviolis
the
with
group
the,
of kids.
With the group
They
of
were
kids.
in awe.
They were just watching this kid, and
Oh,
it
yeah,
took
I
him
saw
like
that.
5 minutes to open up a can of raviolis with a manual can opener.
So, hold on. I
and
was
and they
kinda
all
conf-
clapped when he finally got it
I
open.
think that was the 505 struggle.
And
bus.
that's what
No,
the
I was
Common
actually
Core has done to
confused by
schools.
that.
We've made it dumber
What do
and
people use to
simpler.
open
and-
cans
So,
now?
hey, I know. Let's introduce alcohol into that mix and
No.
see what we get.
It's part of an entire thing. It's not just introducing alcohol, it's introducing responsibility and teaching them how to be adults sooner. They're
Well-
getting too much time to linger in this weird
I think we need
phase.
to
I
we need to
totally
ban
agree.
Tide Pods, Glade plugins, can openers, and alcohol to all Hillary supporters. I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Why are you talking about Hillary in 2018? She is a retired
talking to
person who's
Steve.
complete. No, at all.
Oh,
Why is anyone talking about Hillary?
I just
She's
I
not
just-
doing
why are we talking
wait,
about can
wait,
openers?
I got the answer to that. I got the answer to that.
Besides, Hillary
I got the
supporters
answer to
need to
that.
drink more
Hillary,
than anybody.
Hillary,
This is the part of the show where the train has come off the tracks, and we are talking about everything but the subject.
and
at
you know
hand.
what? It's a clickable moment because you know what?
Because you know what?
I'm not sure why.
Hillary is still in the woods somewhere,
But we're
Killing people.
But we're doing it
And
with
Trump is
civility.
still in the White House.
witnessing
Burying
suicides.
bodies. She's
Making
still in the
America
woods
great.
burying bodies.
Suicides by 2 shots to the back of the head.
Yes. When I commit suicide, I always do it with 2 bullets to the back of the
Okay,
head.
well, we hit the 54-minute mark, so
We were doing so good. I
We were.
screwed it up. I screwed it up.
You know, it's tough because Rachel and I became Facebook friends like last week.
Really?
Oh.
And,
Hey, how come
and-
you're not my friend?
and we just
Damn it.
have this like
Everybody-
we're gonna disagree on everything. That I was agreeing with her on something, and she still got mad at me.
No, I
had to
wasn't clear
explain that
because
we
you-
were agreeing.
well, no, we agreed on the major point. We didn't agree on all the reasons how we got there.
Well, you don't qualify.
And
to be
also,
my
you put a
Facebook
lot of
friend,
words in there, so I'm going to try to be thoughtful
don't
and
like tacos?
respond.
Because she doesn't like tacos.
Listen, I will talk to you. Please be my friend. Join me. But
Right.
just like,
she had a cute dog video the other day.
oh yeah, my dog. I send out. Never
my
mind.
dog wouldn't fit in this studio.
Also, the only dog that's been on the show.
Reese, she almost came today
Well,
too.
I guess technically she
Let's
wasn't on
do
the
these.
show.
Lucky
She was in the
Reese.
studio.
Let's do these.
Layla said the transport system would have to greatly improve before raising the driving
agree.
age. In many places, like where I live, you
Look
have
at
to
those-
drive
look at
because
those
there are
stats.
no reliable transits.
That's true. That's true.
Self-driving cars. Yeah. Well, once we have self-driving cars, I'm like 5-year-olds can drink. I don't
I
care.
mean, I really just prefer public transportation.
It just worries me, like, you know, when I grew up, I was driving when I was 12, mainly because I was a designated driver for my alcoholic dad. But we lived in the boonies.
Look at that.
and-
America's a high.
I could drive at 9 o'clock at night on the freeway, and I'd be the only car. I mean, it was no big deal, right? Because we lived out in the sticks.
Yeah, you'd only kill yourself
Right, exactly.
or a deer.
Or a deer. Yeah, that was more likely.
Dear
than
lives
anything.
matter.
But let me tell you,
No.
in Houston, I'm just like I'm morbidly afraid of my daughter, like getting a driver's license and driving, just because I mean, the road out of our neighborhood is 7 lanes, and the road next to it is 12 lanes. I mean, and it's like it's
have a driver's
crazy.
It's okay to be afraid in life, but you can't live your life by
yeah.
fear. You've just got to just do it anyway.
I don't fear anything. I fear stuff for her, though.
I know.
But make sure that when you do jump out
she's
of an
gotta just
airplane,
do
you
it.
have a
I don't
chute.
think it's
That's
an
true.
irrational.
Listen, Joe,
just jump out of a plane.
Listen, for me, it's not an
Time for baby
irrational.
bird to fly.
Yeah, listen, it's not an irrational fear to say it's one thing to
Got
drive.
her head down.
Listen.
I'm listening. I'm also laughing.
It's okay.
Listen to Joe. He's a worried father.
What I'm saying is, for me, it is not an irrational or illogical fear to say, at 18, I don't want to mix with that, especially in this very metropolitan, area that we live in, alcohol and driving.
Agreed. That's why you
So-
introduce
There
alcohol
are
first.
so
Well, it's
many
too late.
because if you
variables.
introduce it after, there's
She's
going
older already.
to be a time period of irresponsibility.
I don't disagree that that's.
Oh, we have stats.
Yes,
what we're talking
that's what I'm saying. Let's read
Well,
these. There's a
Go
lot
ahead,
of
Scott, go ahead.
comments.
I don't disagree that that's a rational thought, but it's also a relative thought, right? So that's going to be, and
I acknowledge that.
And so you can extrapolate that to moms who don't want their kids to play a certain sport because they'll get hurt. Parents who don't let their kids go on roller coasters because the roller coaster can fall apart.
Right.
You made a really good comment earlier on that. Like, you can't be so afraid that you cripple yourself from living/enjoying life.
Oh, absolutely. And so, but where the critical component for me in that statement was, I don't think it's irrational or illogical to say, at 18, if I'm introducing this person to driving and being on the freeway, now also introducing alcohol to that same, person, I don't think it's irrational or illogical to be worried about
Well,
that
actually,
setting.
has been allowed to drive since she was 16.
True story.
I wanted to read a couple of
Not
this.
really allowed,
So this, yes, legally. So this
Oh,
shows
well,
that
legally,
the
yeah,
U.S.
but-
population
Me.
of Canada and Germany and U.S. We have triple Canada's drinking problem and sextuple.
Actually, that's not correct, though.
But alcoholism rate and I think this really
But
does have to do
extrapolate it to population. That's the
no,
problem.
that is to
That is.
population. That's percent.
I believe
Those
that
are
is.
percentage.
Yes.
Those are percentages.
4% of the population.
12.7%.
Gotcha.
It's almost 13%.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
the ratio?
That's good. Okay, that's
So-
very relevant
Right,
information.
and that's what I thought it was, because when you
Thank
do
you to our
lower it.
research assistant.
Yes,
Ashley
thank you,
Bradley.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Bradley.
The check is in the mail.
The official research assistant for the show.
The check.
I
is
love
in the
what
mail.
Justin said.
Yeah.
Dude is lying. Clearly, he's talking about Joseph. He did drink Listerine.
Man.
He did.
I thought I was doing good today.
And then he came back and he says, "I think
I'll
that
tell
the
you,
genera-
He said he did drink
I'll tell
Listerine.
you, you are doing
Oh,
good
6
today.
o'clock. Oh, we got to rate the wine.
Yes.
Yeah, let's rate
So,
the wine.
so look, I want to wrap up the comments here. Ashley said, as for Listerine, for example, original formula Listerine is about 54 proof. Yep, that's what we found on the internet. Good stuff. Terry, thanks for chiming in as always, brother.
Original.
My constitutionist friend.
Black label.
What am I doing?
Black label.
Justin Anderson said, I can't read it because my daughter scrolled past it. Justin Anderson said, I think that with the generation of idiots we have growing up, we need to raise the drinking age. That being said, kids are going to get drunk regardless. Yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at earlier, Justin, with the whole, I think, like, the maturity level is getting older and older. But the counter to that, to throw it out there in Rachel's position, and I don't necessarily disagree, I'm on the fence still, is that we're just babying them so much that they just aren't maturing. And if we kind of throw them in the fire and make them mature sooner, they could handle alcohol sooner. And
Well, maybe not throw them in the fire. I'm saying, like, let's push responsibilities.
Right.
slow. We're not
My
doing
political.
it.
That's what I meant by
Well,
that.
Joe, my political position on this is this.
We're just letting the puppy off.
I'm going to say that I think we need to leave the drinking age at 21 as is to purchase and consume. But if you are of the age of, say, 15, 16 years old,
You can travel with it?
no, you can't travel. No, I'm saying it can be dispensed to you by an adult of drinking age. So there's how you meet the two ends meet. And so that if you want to create a culture of maturity and responsibility, this is a glass of wine. You might be really
But I believe that's
surprised. You start
already
putting a bunch of wine in front of kids, they're going to go, ugh, that's not
Yeah,
good.
that's
It's
another
not
thing.
juice.
Yeah, we're forgetting that also it doesn't taste good
Jesus
to 16-year-olds. So that's another thing. I did think about that because, like, you really just don't want to get drunk on wine when you're 16 because it doesn't taste good to you. It's a palate.
It goes good with the meal.
like Boone's Farm.
Well, but that's and also to add to that, I think it's important that
bet
we
you could
lower
give
the
some
laws
Moscato
because
that they would like.
parents necessarily
I
aren't
used to
doing
sniff
this.
hairspray.
Friends
But
will
I
do
like
it with
this
their
idea.
friends,
That explains a
especially if they can't drive.
But I like this idea about
Sniffing hairspray?
incrementalism.
I do. I like
Bringing
that's
it
actually
down,
pretty
say
good.
To
like
make
over a
people
period every
comfortable, yeah.
every 72
Well, I
months,
mean, like,
into
let's
about
drop
5
it
years.
to
to give society the time
Let's
to
rate
adjust
the
it. I
wine
like
and
that.
final bullet points under
Yeah, it's
a
just like
minute.
Joseph
All right.
doesn't want to get a word in.
One last comment that I have to acknowledge here because this is great.
That's good.
Ashley said, however, this is the same country where Oregon was told to pump their own gas and 550-year-olds lost their friggin' mind.
That's true.
But that's an example
Maybe it
of
should be a
exactly what we're
state-by-state
talking
basis.
about. But Ashley,
Yeah.
that is proof that when you don't make people do things for themselves, they don't know how to do it. They
Make
got
them do
to
things for
learn to
themselves.
do it, and so
That's
Well,
one of those,
they've never done it. You can't
No,
be
I
mad at
understand.
people who've never done it. They don't know. I mean, yeah, it
But you
seems
can't,
really
you
stupid.
can't make someone do something that they've never done.
Right.
I think at least one
You
point
can-
of agreement
you
that we can.
introduce it to 'em.
I think one point of agreement that we can all agree on from this show that I think we're all on board with is that if you're old enough to die for your country, you're old enough to
Yes.
drink. I think that's one we all agree on. So that's a good point. I also think the
Are you
incremental
still
thing.
drinking the wine?
If
Smell it.
if we started
Smell it.
if we started like this year and we said the drinking age is 20 and we're going to leave it that for 2 years, right? And then at the end of 2 years, we're going to lower it to 19. At the end of that 2 years, we're going to lower it to 18. I think we can just keep working our way down.
I should run for office.
But this is
Oh
going to
my
be
gosh.
something that you're introducing as a federal fix or
Yeah.
a solution. Okay, there's where we get into a big difference
Yeah,
there
we'll
because
do it by
I
state.
think
By
the
state,
states need
there
to
is no
decide that.
federal
So if the state
authority
doesn't
over
want to do it,
alcohol.
Can we
boom,
remove
do
the
it.
federal authority
Sure.
over alcohol?
How do I become
Sure.
governor, Joe?
I want to
What?
remove
Just run.
federal.
How do I become governor?
Just run.
Will you support me? Will these
No.
videos be? These
Nobody
videos
will
If
support
you
you.
run on a
Joseph.
taco platform,
Is there a great deal of overreach in federal
Yes.
and alcohol?
It's in.
Well, it's less about federal overreach and more about do they have the authority to rule on
Well, they did
Well,
when
and-
they made an amendment.
and
but
it's
they
also
repealed
about
it.
liability. So their laws are on liability.
I'm a
that's
big
what drove it. You're right.
It's
You're absolutely
liability.
right. Yes.
Because of lawsuits.
I'm a big. Oh, that's yours.
Yeah,
I'm a
you can tell with all
right
the
here.
lipstick.
Yes, that was a big cue in right there.
It's not mine. I don't have lipstick.
This is
on.
this is another show. I'm a big
Lipstick
thing
guy?
on no. I'm a big thing on the federal government. If it's not expressly stated power in the Constitution, then they have no business talking about it, and that applies to a lot of different subjects. It applies to the whole gay marriage. It applies to abortion. It applies
a lot
to
of social
net
issues.
a lot of net neutrality. It has a lot to do with the government overreach and saying that our founding fathers were very smart in the idea of keeping government close to the citizens that were being ruled by that government. And so if it wasn't expressly stated in the Constitution, that meant it defaulted to the state's power and thus the people having the opinion. So anyway, I'm also a fan of the idea of saying, hey, each state can vote on whatever drinking age they want.
That's right.
And the
they
government
will.
and the government
They
doesn't
should.
even- yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So all right,
Bullet
all right.
point.
Time to rate the wine. Today's wine
Yeah.
is called Vandori. It's a Pinot Grigio from Italy. Italy? Spain?
Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Italy.
A Pinot Grigio Vandori from Italy.
Italian.
And I will have a review of the wine, what it pairs with, all that kind of stuff, notes on the wine, posted up tomorrow on our Instagram page. So make sure you hop over to Instagram. Friend us on the Wine to Wine Show on Instagram. Just do a search for that and you'll find us. And that's the only place where that review is going to exist. So you have to hop over there to find it. All right, Scott, turn it over to you, brother.
All right, well, let me start with this. Usually I don't like a wine that doesn't have a cork in it. But
Hey, corks are very passe. They're
They really are.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you
much
that
more
the
serious.
my
Yeah,
my
that's
last
great
visit
so
to the Wine No Wine show, we had a What is this? What kind of beer? What kind of wine is this?
This is a Pinot Noir.
Was that? No.
No.
The one that
box.
Oh, this is a Pinot Grigio.
Okay, that's what we had last time. Too.
Really? Oh.
And my comment on it was that it smelled really fresh and fruity, really good, but it had a horrible bite to it. It really dry taste to it, and I don't think that this one had that. I enjoyed this one more than the other one. This one was a lot smoother to drink. It didn't have any of the bite that some wines have, and so I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 3.75. So
3.75. All right, Joe.
Okay. So, well, there's one bottle of wine that we drank on the show one
bottle.
time. That we drank on the show one time.
He refers to Orgoglio.
Yeah.
Another Italian wine.
That was, I don't know.
It was insanely good.
It
really was.
like super good
Well,
to this day.
I really wish we
March
could have it again.
And
it's limited.
I thought it was
And gone.
super good.
Yeah, it was a 5. Yeah.
It was a 5. So everything I drink now is like trying to catch up to that. And then now that I'm having flashbacks when I used to drink Listerine, you know, it was also, because that's a lot cheaper.
2 hours ago.
That's probably a lot cheaper than this wine. So I'm going to have to go ahead and give this one a 4.5 because it's super good. I don't describe it with the bite.
It's a technical term.
Fruity and all that
Super
stuff.
good.
I don't know. It's just super good. It's tremendous. It's bigly good. And,
Bigly good. Bigly good.
But it will
Bigly
never-
I love that.
Jiggly Biggly.
Yeah.
It's bigly good.
So,
Dilly dilly.
4.5 for that.
Oh no! Don't be a
So-
commercial.
Your turn.
Yeah. All right. So I will tell you that we get these wines from a wine club that I'm in, and consistently for me, they have really done well with the white wines. With rare exception, do we get one that's not a good wine. And not that the reds aren't good, but for me, the whites have knocked it out of the park. And this one is a very solid offering at a 4.5.
That looks like about 4 1/3.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
you didn't
well.
you didn't do it right, Joe.
There we go.
you go.
To the stem.
To the stem, 4.5.
Yeah.
There we go.
now, Rachel's gonna rate her monstrosity of a hybrid wine or the original.
Yeah,
wine?
because you mixed
Did
it.
you want to try it before
That-
you
that-
just started talking?
That spawn
you wanna
offering
try
to
it?
Satan that
Not
she just
terrible.
created over there.
It's actually helped both of them.
See, it doesn't identify as a.
It helped
as a-
both, right?
That's a 5.
It helped both. For me, I'm giving it a 3.5. It says 3, but it's a 3.5. It was really kind of just average and in the middle of the road all the way. I mean, it's really light bodied.
It's definitely a light body.
It's a
me.
very light body.
Stop it.
But
Don't do that, no.
it's a little on the drier side. It's a really middle of the road flavor. It's not overwhelming. I mean, I think this would be a really good wine for everybody. You could feel safe serving this if you wanted to serve a white wine with dinner. It's not my
Pastas and
favorite,
fish.
but it is on the positive side. I enjoyed it. I would definitely drink it, especially if it's well chilled. I think it's not one that holds its flavor well when it gets warmer. I don't know. He's still drinking it, but
Yeah,
to me, I
I
can't stand
understand.
white wine when it's warm. So I mean, it's just a solid 3.5. And if you're having a dinner party, I would say you probably won't piss any guests off with this.
I drink Listerine warm.
And Joseph drinks Listerine.
Joe! Joe!
You know what? All right. 4, great wine. Bouquet's great. And finishes kind of
yeah.
flat, but you know what? If you pair it with a meal, chickens,
Or with a black.
pastas,
Or with
with a red, you know, you
hybrid
mix it like
hybrid.
Rachel does. Wino. Anyway,
I am a wino.
I know you are.
4.05.
Wow.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's not a
4.05,
bad. I
yeah.
would buy it.
It's you know, I think
So.
I think everybody kind of hit the same range with it. We just some like it a little more than others, but at the end of the day, I think we're all saying the same. It's a very non-offensive, drinkable wine.
Yes.
It's going to be a safe with most audiences.
It gives
so.
you
I
a
don't-
buzz. That's all that matters.
Nobody's gonna hate it, and
I have to wonder what
very
gut
few
wines
people are
would go
gonna
good
love
with
it.
And nobody's gonna
tacos.
steal it because they don't love it enough. to
Nobody
steal it.
drinks
I mean,
wine
I
with
would.
tacos. You need to have michelada
You
with
haven't
tacos.
tried.
I'm just kidding.
No,
All
I
right,
actually
so
haven't tried. No.
we're going to wrap up the
Gross.
show. The music's going to start any second now. But
All right,
look,
please.
guys, we're going to be going live We're going to be going
I'll let you
live
know when nobody claims.
on Instagram in the conference room, and we're going to keep chatting because I've got some more subjects that this has kind of piqued my curiosity about. Should we raise the voting age, or lower the voting age, or keep it where it's at? Because right now you can't drink, but you can vote.
As soon as you pay your own rent.
You're responsible enough.
Can't vote, can't drink.
Listen, you're responsible enough to go up and kill
Don't
people.
drink, don't smoke.
You can also go to jail for life.
Yes, but are you responsible enough to vote? You can't drink though. So I don't know. I've got some thoughts about this. I think we're gonna break into some extra conversation after the show. Hop on Instagram and catch us. Be sure to chime in with your thoughts on all of the shows, not just this show. Check out all the shows. Share your thoughts and comments.
I hope to see you in the group chat.
Yes, join the group chat.
Yes.
It's pinned on the page here. If you go to the Whine and Whine Show page, you'll see the group link. You can get to the group.
I will say there's some very authoritative moderators, though, in the group, right? There's a big warning, right?
There was a big warning.
It was like a come to Jesus moment before we even started. Like,
saw
hey,
that.
let's have fun here.
No,
Except
no,
if you
no.
have too much fun, we're kicking you out.
No, I think it is important to know.
That was my daughter. She posted some great rules to the whole
Those are
group.
great rules, and those are pretty standard.
I don't
That's
like rules.
pretty standard. It's
I
not
don't like
hard.
rules.
These guys.
That was actually Scott's reply. No rules.
I don't like rules at all.
All right,
let's go, guys.
We're out of here. Thanks for being a part of the
Bye.
show. We'll see you next
I don't like
week.
rules at all, man.
Thursdays, 7 p.m. Fridays, 5 p.m.
We're out.